One of the most important communication skills is effective listening. Your ability to clearly and effectively listen to other people will set you apart. People won't waste time repeating information. They will be able to trust you more. They will be able to share with you ideas. They will be able to talk, and maybe they can't get everything formulated, but you can help them get those ideas out, and you can really build some great, strong relationships. So the main thing you want to do is tell yourself, hey, I want to be a better listener. And we're going to talk about that for the next few minutes to figure out how you might do that. To start, think about completing the effective listening inventory. There's an attachment along with this video. It's 20 questions. And what you do is you read each statement and you ask yourself, do I do that? If it's at least a third of the time or more, then say, yeah, I do that. For example, I prepare myself for listening by focusing my thoughts on the speaker and the topic. Do you do that? Or do you daydream? If you do that on a regular basis, then say that's something I pretty much do. If you don't, leave it blank. Another example, I read emails or other documents while I'm listening to someone on the telephone. If that's something you do on a pretty regular basis versus put your phone away, then check that. Go through these listening inventories and figure out which ones are you doing, which ones are you not doing. Then we're going to take a moment to score it. With the 20 items, there's 10 even and 10 odd. I'd like you to count those up. Most people have a handful of both odds and evens that they've checked. So what does it all mean? Well, first of all, it means that all of us can be good and bad listeners at the same time. The odd-numbered statements in this inventory are generally the positive things that you're doing. The even-numbered are the negative things that hinder effective listening. And if you're high on both of those, or you're really high on the even and lower on the odd, then it says that you really need some help improving your effective listening. So how can you become a better listener? There are 8 specific suggestions that will help. First, ask questions. Great listeners ask questions. It's not to try to embarrass or shame someone. Instead, they're asking for follow-up. Well, tell me more about that, or how long has that been going on, or what's been happening? These sorts of things continue to help people express their ideas, and it encourages them to continue talking. So ask questions, and ask great questions. Number 2, you summarize points. You might say something like, well, what I've heard you say is point A, B, and C. Did I get those right? Yes, you did. What's that do? It proves that you were listening versus daydreaming. So summarizing the points is a great way to do that. And maybe you ask a follow-up question, or what else are you thinking? And so you're really focused on that other person, and then you go from there. Number 3, a great listener does not interrupt. Someone starts talking and all of a sudden, oh, I had that same idea that happened to me. They don't do that. They keep their mouth shut and let the other person talk all the way through. Now, of course, if someone is going on and on and on, you might have to help them summarize. I'm talking about immediate interruptions. Try to avoid that. That will help you be a better listener. Number 4, you see the elephant in the room. What are people not talking about? What is the big issue? They may be saying, oh, I'm having problems with this, or I'm having problems with that, or I don't like the way this is going. And what is it really about? That you hate your job. Is that really what the issue is? Or that you don't like your boss? What's the bigger issue driving this? Chances are you have a gut feeling or an idea about it, and being able to bring that up and talk about it is way more important than just avoiding that. Number 5, you grasp what is not being said, what is left unsaid. So is someone talking about a bunch of things and they leave something out? Whatever you have there that they're not talking about and you're sensing that, then ask about that. Number 6, you're polite. One time I showed a list of effective listening behaviors to someone and they said, you know what? This is what my mom taught me when I was a little kid. It's what I learned in first grade about being nice to other people and being polite. And I thought about it for a while and I said, you know what? That's exactly right. Effective listeners are polite. They're courteous, they're gracious toward the other person. So be polite. Number 7, you know when to solve a problem versus let someone vent. Now, some people have much more problem with this than others, and I know I have a big problem with this. Someone says, hey, here's my situation, this is happening, so on and so forth. And what do? Oh, here's an idea, or have you thought about this, or have you tried that? What they're doing is they're venting. They're being frustrated and they're trying to get it off their chest. You don't need to solve every one of their problems. If you aren't clear, then what I'd say is ask the person, is this something you were hoping I would solve, or is this just something you were wanting to talk to me about? Knowing when to solve a problem versus let someone vent is huge. And then number 8, finally, eye contact. In Western culture, great listeners look at the other person. When they look at the other person, they make eye contact, they encourage them to continue speaking and so forth. They're not daydreaming, looking around, wondering what's happening. So these are 8 ways that you can practice to become a better listener. If you're a great listener, what you're going to do is find out that you're getting a lot more friends than other people. And it's easier for you to make friends and build strong relationships and get more of what you want out of life. Why? Because so many people desire to be heard and listened to and respected. And when you do that, other people start to like you more. We like people who let us talk. So instead of talking all the time, zip it up, ask some great questions, and find out exactly what they're thinking about. Be a good listener, and you'll see that it pays huge dividends to you, your career, and your personal life.